Hey everybody, and welcome to this Faster Friday. Now on this Faster Friday, we're going to talk about that symbol right there, which is really a bad drawing of MasterCard Send. So we're going to talk about MasterCard Send. Stay tuned. MasterCard Send. It is a faster payment option that is available in the US now, and it is one that I'm talking about in many conferences that I speak at. As I've told you in talking about all the different pays, I talk about Alipay, WeChat, Venmo, Visa Direct is another one. If I'm going to talk about MasterCard Send, I definitely got to mention Visa Direct too. And of course we talk about real-time payments, and we talk about same-day ACH too, because I do think that they fall into that discussion. I also talk a lot about fraud, but we're not going to go there right now. What exactly is MasterCard Send? Well, MasterCard Send in the US, according to their website, is, well, they say it's a first of its kind global platform. Yeah, they say global. I'm going to touch on that too. That enables funds to be sent quickly and securely via 3 different payment flows. One of the first ones that they deal with is disbursements, and that's payments from governments, businesses, and nonprofit agencies to consumers, okay, or to their customers. Second would be domestic P2P, so that's person-to-person payments, and that's domestic. You got to stress that. That's domestic. That's within the US. That's between 2 consumers. And third, they do advertise that it has cross-border P2P capabilities. You've got to realize when it comes to many of our payment capabilities, there are some limitations, there aren't some limitations. All depends on the network and what's being used. However, I do want to stress that there is OFAC requirements whenever we are dealing with the transfer of money, okay? We cannot be funding terrorists, we cannot be funding drug cartels. I live in the Tampa area, which really is pretty bad when it comes to human trafficking. I know Atlanta's pretty bad too for that. So those types of things we don't want to be funding, and there are others too. When it comes to cross-border payments, that always becomes an issue. Does MasterCard Send have a solution for cross-border payments? Absolutely. Is it instantaneous? I haven't tested it out to see it happen that way yet. But I do want to mention this. They're in multiple countries, and they are in countries where this is becoming more of a reality, where there is country-to-country faster payments taking place. So I'm not going to disagree with them touting that on their website, and I bring that up because in my conversations I've had people tell me they can't do that. Well, I'm not going to say they can't just yet. I'm going to say there's a little bit of technicalities, and my big issue is I don't care what the method is, you got to stay in that OFAC compliance. And I'm pretty sure you're going to probably see a Who is OFAC video coming up after the statements and questions I've had here recently. So how does an actual transaction work when it comes to the MasterCard Send network? Most electronic P2P and disbursement solutions actually rely on older methods. We hear people talk about their slow batch methods. This is not a bad thing when it comes to a certain type of payment. That is another issue that I bring up in all my discussions is what type of payment do you need? I even have a graph I've created that shows based on how and when you need funds availability, speed of payment to take place, there are solutions that may be better than others. I'm one of those that really believes there's a solution for everything, and that's why we have so many different payment options. But it is the ability to be able to do it in seconds. Now what MasterCard Send is, and what it says it's unique, is it can transfer funds virtually to all debit cards in the US instantaneously, or at least within seconds. Now again, that's transferring funds to MasterCard branded debit cards within seconds. That's really what I understand from my research MasterCard Send does. You want to be able to send money to somebody, bam, boom, quick. It gets onto their MasterCard debit card, okay? Now it's done through a set of APIs, application programming interfaces, and a service provider can request a transfer through a sending acquirer. An acquirer is a term that we see within MasterCard. It's actually something that we see within the credit network. So those of you studying for the AP, make sure you can define what an acquirer is. And then MasterCard routes the information to any US bank account via debit card, and it actually can do it regardless of the brand. So I know I kind of said, hey, it's going to be MasterCard branded. It doesn't. It can actually be Visa branded as well. MasterCard Send enables transaction originators to send funds directly to a consumer's bank account within seconds using the debit card number that is associated with that account. So first, how do the steps work? Step 1, the sender initiates a P2P transaction to the transaction originator. Step 2, the transaction originator collects the debit and card information and initiates the transaction to MasterCard. Step 3, the network, which would be MasterCard in this case, of course, conducts their due diligence, because we've always got to do our due diligence. We don't just say, oh yeah, that payment can go. We need to check it out and see if it's okay. Then routes the information on the PIN debit network and provides the transaction controls. Step 4, the sponsoring financial institution, or sponsoring bank in this case, settles with the network and transaction originator. Step 5, there's a lot of steps for this to take place. Step 5, the transaction receiver receives the transaction data from MasterCard or the debit networks and posts the payment transaction to the cardholder's account. And step 6, you got the money. So that's really what it works. Now, all PIN debit networks provide ubiquitous connectivity for sending funds to transaction receivers across card brands. That's something that's unique about the cards. So I'm bringing up MasterCard Send. I'll have videos on many other debit payment options, but I bring it up because it does come into the discussion on faster payments. Does it qualify? I believe so, absolutely, and it's something that needs to be in the discussion as one of the options that's out there. Is it the best option? That's up to you. So this concludes our Faster Friday on MasterCard Send. I would love to hear from you in the comments below how you feel about this, any future videos that you would like to have discussed. You can also message me or send an email to kevin@paymentsprofessor.com. Other than that, have a fantastic Faster Friday.